you know. We'll start treating people a little bit more different. We'll start caring. You mentioned this earlier about
we're kicking in and having fun, inspirational radio. We are the talk show. Kicking in and having fun. So turn your radio up.
We'll start having a heart to care about the person and not necessarily being right or wrong with that particular person. Because I think that's what it really boils down to. Sometimes we want to be right about something. You know? We want to, make sure that they're right about it,
Definitely. Empathy is powerful when you put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And if you can't, you got to hold back your commentary, because if you can't even do it, you're not willing to do it, you don't even want to try. Because I hear all these off the cuff comments when people fall. You don't even got all the facts. You don't even know the whole story. All you know is a news report that said this happened. We don't know if that happened or not. Yeah. Just because the news, we know how credible the news is,
Right.
Just because they're reporting stuff. So it's like, I don't have nothing to say that fast. I have no idea what really happened. Because I've been involved in news stories in my own family, in the papers, with my own family, writing up stories and things when we went through. It was nothing that really happened. I was there. I lived it. I was in the house with them. I was there when the story was developing. When the story got in, I had a front row seat. And when it get in the newspaper, it's like, this man in New York writing a story about somebody in Indiana, never laid eyes on, never met, and you just take a court document and you just write a whole article about who she is, what she is, how. It's like, no, I've been knowing them 30 years. That's not that. I grew up in a house with them. It ain't no, so I have a different way to look at stuff. When it's just like, you got to wait till stuff play out, wait till it develop, wait till it do stuff. Because people make comments immediately killing people soon as it come out. Oh, I can't believe it. Look at him. I knew something. It's like, you didn't know nothing. You still don't, just because the report came out. We really don't know. That's my take on a lot of stuff. Calm down, hold out, let it develop. And even if it is what they say it is, what you gonna do with it? Can you help them? Criticizing them and talk about them ain't gonna help them. What you gonna do to help them? Okay, this is what they did. Okay, we find out the facts. Okay. So how is your tearing them up gonna help them? You know what I'm saying? How was that building up the kingdom? How was that making us look better as a body? How was that making us have empathy, mercy, and compassion?
And Sonia, while you were talking, something popped in my spirit. I just thought about this. Jesus, when he came to earth, he put on a body of flesh. Like he wanted to know how we felt about things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I think we overlook that because we focus on him dying on the cross and being resurrected, and but he actually walked on this earth for 30 years in our flesh, and then he wanted to feel what we felt. Like the pain that he felt before he went to the cross was to feel our pain in our heart, and so if Jesus could do that, like he really put on our shoes. He put on our skin, everything, and he walked in this flesh. How much more should we not care and at least put the effort and the work to try to do that for each other? And I just, I don't see us doing that. And the reason why I know we don't do it is because people don't even see themselves in other people. Like the fact that they could be caught in the very same thing that they're telling this other person they shouldn't be in. A couple of months ago, I put a video out about TD Jakes, and he went to I think he wished Diddy happy birthday or something like that. People still comment on that today. But, one of the comments that came out was this lady who said that, he shouldn't be connected or shouldn't be next to somebody who isn't saved. For one, I don't know if P. Diddy is saved or not. I put him on the same kind of area of Trump. Like, he do some stuff that I don't want him to say, hey, I don't want him to represent me or whatever, but his personal salvation, I is not where I am. But I would want him to be connected to someone like Bishop because I've been connected to Bishop and I know how much that's changed my life, right? And so what I said to her was, like, when you go to work, you're around people all the time that's not saved.
Yeah, is your boss saved? You gonna quit?
You are around people that aren't saved. And she could not see herself in the same situation. You know what I mean? Like, I think people look at people who are famous. They look at people like Lecrae and all of that. You're in, like, Bishop makes movies. He makes music. Like, I guarantee you, he's in circles with people who aren't believers or don't want to, like, that's just like anything we do in this world is going to require that. And, the scripture she used was, light can't exist in darkness. And I had an epiphany with that. Like, the very definition of darkness is the absence of light. Right? So maybe the situation is, like, when you go in your office, you're supposed to be the light that takes away that darkness in your office. You're supposed to change that atmosphere that's in your office because you're there. Like, it's if anything, it should be a dim, some type of light in there because you're in there. And if it's not, that's why you got darkness in there. And if you there, you gotta
check your light switch. And what you gonna do with the scripture say, go ye into all the nations and make disciples of them. So where are you making disciples if you ain't getting the unsaved people disciplined? The very word disciple means discipline. Where in the world you gonna do that at? If he said, go ye into all the worlds and make disciples, you discipling the people already saved? No, they already got it. I'm just trying to say, where are you going? And he just told you what to do. I don't understand when you think that you have to be separate from them, but I do think you need to hold a standard with them because you don't need to let them pull you down. Your standard need to bring them up. And I do think you need to stay in your league. Like, don't be trying to get out here running with people and you got saved Monday and they got some demons that they go way back and goodness well, you just now learn one verse and you ain't even got that down real pat. You don't know where the chapter is at. And I think everybody have their position that they play, and we all don't play the same position. And you have your people you need to reach, and we need to stay in our lanes. But to have such an opinion about so much stuff and you don't know the people, I think, like you said, lazy. And I think sometimes you're talking out of trauma. Oh, I wouldn't do this, do that. You haven't even disciplined yourself enough to get any help for your trauma. Most people talk out of trauma. As soon as they start talking, they talk out of pain and trauma. They're not talking from a place of wellness, because anybody that got any amount of wellness know that people are human. People going to make mistakes and stuff going to happen. When you talking too fast, you haven't dealt with anything. You're talking too fast. You don't have no self-awareness to even know. To have empathy, you have to have some self-awareness. You have to have some type of healing to empathize with somebody else. Otherwise, you speak from your pain, your position, what you know, and what you would do. And if I was them, I would do. You're never going to be them because you're not going to have enough sense to even get into the position or the room to be there. I'm not trying to be funny, but that's, you just talking. You just talking and be talking. And they shouldn't be up there with them. Why shouldn't he be up there with them? Tell me why. What do you know about them why they shouldn't be, he say happy birthday, or he shouldn't do this? I have, what is all this commentary about situations you don't have no clue about? You be talking too fast, got too much to say about stuff you have no understanding. That's my point.
That's that lazy part. One good leg. What your pastor mind got to say?
So a lot of these people get this diarrhea at the mouth, and start running off a whole bunch of stuff, and ain't really spent no time doing nothing, don't know nothing about the situation, and just want to be heard, basically. And that's dangerous. And when you got people who ain't ready for themselves talking to people who ain't ready for themselves, now they're a collective. You know what I'm saying? They've immobilized as a gang, and they feel like their perception and their view is right about the situation when it's not even really founded on nothing. And so those are the kind of things that get lynch mob started. You know, a bunch of people who just going off half cocked.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. So, you know, I thought that was an interesting way to put that. I do think there's certain things that we do in the church, and we come from a lazy position on it. You know, you pointed out, Lasagna, us, you know, saying the Bible saying going out and to make disciples. Like, a lot of us want to stay in the comfort of a church, be around people who think like us, act like us, do that's easy work. Like, that's honestly, I think that comes from a very self-centered place. Like, I hear a lot of people like, hey, I'm going to church, I need feed me, Pastor. You know, he really, you know, it's all about what we can get. When the Bible says that, you know, he wants to give us so that we can give. And it's not just finances, it is the knowledge. It is, you know, these blessings that we're receiving. And you can't really do that just spending your whole life in a church. Like, all the sinners just don't come to church. Like, you work with them every single day. And if you have a mentality that these people aren't in your circle of influence, they're not watching you. I mean, they're watching. So to your point, Lasagna, about the standard, like, the standard is people are watching you every single day, seeing how you react to things, seeing how you act about things, seeing how you relate to people. Are you gossiping? Are you, you know, backbiting? Are you doing all? If you're staying at that standard, then yes, you're walking in an office and you're a light, and people are going to start gravitating to you because there's going to be something in you. They're going to be like, there's something different about you, right? And that opens the door for you to have those conversations that are life-changing and you know, that build relationships that you know, that you can introduce and say, hey, here's my source. Type conversations. But if you're standoffish, all they do is party all weekend, or you know, walk around angry or unapproachable, like, that's not something that, you know, I think people would gravitate to, and it's not something that I think, you know, allows you to be effective in going out and being disciples. So, which again goes back to me, you know, again, just tying yourself to to people who aren't standing on that standard, you know.
Right.
It's all inclusive, you know. So I think in future weeks, I think that'd be curious to know, like, are there any other like lazy things that we do in church that we just kind of sit back and hope God kind of takes over, or, you know, I don't know. He does what he does. I mean, because I think some people don't agree with this. I don't know if you guys agree with this statement, but I heard Mike Todd say this, Pastor Mike Todd say this a while ago, that like God has allowed like anything that happens in this earth, he wants to happen through us. Like, and I don't think some Christians believe that. I think they believe like God is going to make everything happen. So I don't think they take the relationships that we have with each other as serious as, you know, they probably should. You know what I mean? Because, you know, the very people that you're shunning, the very people that you're pushing away, the very people that you won't talk to, could be your blessing, could be connected to your blessing, could be a part of what God has, you know, put in place for you to walk into your purpose. But because of being too religious or being too, you know, whatever.
Now, we do have some stuff we can get loud with and get in purpose with, like some of these school agendas. You don't have to jump on people, but you can jump on some of these agendas. No, you're not teaching that in school. It's going to be boys, girls. It's going to be a girl bathroom. Boy, now, it's some stuff that we could get loud with and really jump on, and it don't have to be people. But we got a lot of agendas out there we can have a lot of opinions about and be out there, you know, marching, flags, standing, writing, tweeting, but we want to jump on people. It's like, no, that's not the right fight. These principalities in high places, we fight not against flesh and blood, but principalities in high places. We got a real devil out here trying to take over our kids. Now that's something we can really jump into them agendas, because he's trying to pervert our kids so he can take over our society to get God to destroy us, because the alt is between God and him. We just casualties of war. So we can jump on some stuff and really have a say so, instead of jumping on people and stuff we don't know. So, we don't know that, but some of these agendas, we can jump on them both feet. No, you're not teaching that in this school. No, we're not standing for that. So it is some stuff we can jump on, but it don't have to be people.
Absolutely. And the one thing, going back to that, Lasagna, but can we depend on the government to do that?
No, sir.
That's what they do. That's what I feel the issue is. It's like we're leaning on someone in the government to go ahead on either side to make a decision and make that right. Whereas, we have an opportunity, for example, I can tell you, we have conversations in our household about different things like that have been introduced, like stuff that I was like they talking about that now in school, you know what I mean? And
I'm serious. It's getting
as a
real.
parent, having to have that conversation, or at least, open up that conversation with my kids, that's important for us to have more influence with that, because in some cases, some of the issues is we want the school to teach our kids everything. Some of the stuff they got to get the foundation from here, home, from here. Like they can teach them math, they can teach them science, they can teach them, some history. I'm gonna fill in the blanks with the history. You know what I mean? So, it's the root of it is, protecting our family structure. There's a couple of different things that need to happen in that case, because you're right. He's definitely after our kids. He's definitely after our, our younger generations. He's definitely after our family units. What it means to even be a family at this particular time, to be fruitful and multiply, all of that is under attack, right?
It's under attack, major.
Right. And, as a church, that's even why it's more important for us to be more unified, to be more ingratiated with kingdom beliefs rather than political beliefs. And just really, joining together. I mean, those marches and those protests would be a lot better if Democratic and Republican Christians were marching together, saying we're not standing for this on this side or that side. You know what I mean? That speaks much louder than we got a Democratic Christian over here and a Republican Christian over here. And it's the only reason why we act like we disagree is because the Democrat or the Republican in front of Christian, right? And Christian, to me, if we're going to use the word Christian, which is supposed to be Christ-like, that should be before anything.
Yeah.
Before I'm a Republican, before I'm a Democrat, before whatever, I'm a son of God, and I'm an heir to God's kingdom, and I'm an ambassador here. I'm just visiting here.
That's right.
So,
we here on a visa. This ain't my home. We're just a traveler in a foreign land for a little while. My real home is when I take this body off. That's my eternal home.
When we start thinking in kingdom ways, we won't get as bamboozled by political figures, saying the right thing, but not with no intentions of doing the right thing.
That's the truth. I heard Tony Evans was talking, and that's where I got that visa from. He said, hey, let me tell you something. I'm a kingdom citizen, first and foremost. I visit Earth on a visa. Like when you go to a foreign country, you're on a visa. I get orders from the kingdom, and I hear what he say, come down here and do it. Sometimes, he said, Democrats or Republicans don't agree with me, because sometimes what the kingdom says go against both parties. He said, so I have problems with both parties a lot, but this is not my home. I have a king in a kingdom, and I go get orders from the king, and I'm a kingdom citizen, and I come to earth on a visa to do what he tell me to do. When I get done, I'm gonna take this body off and go to my real home. So he said, as a kingdom citizen, you need to do what the king says. If it go against Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberalism, whatever the king says is what it should be.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what
Right.
party agree or disagree with it when you a kingdom citizen. He said that's the piece that we're missing.
All right. Well, that's another episode of the Re-Up, and I got questions for our audience. Again, do y'all agree with our commentary about Mr. Donald? Is it Donald J. Trump? Is his middle initial J?
What did we say about him? Or we just was like the political parties and stuff. You got to be
Right.
okay.
The separation between
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump and our Christianity.
Yeah.
And if you think, we all think, I'm dead serious. I want to hear, some thoughts about that, even if they're contrary to what we've talked about. I'm very curious about that. And then, as far as Dante Bowe, I'm super excited for our brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said on previous episodes, I've seen a lot of Christian brothers, talented brothers and sisters, fall away from the body, who've gone through similar situations. I'm glad he has a circle of people around him that, seem like they've been able to kind of help him through. Would recommend strongly, everyone take a listen to that interview. Definitely it'll bless you. Our prayers goes out to the family of Pat Robinson, 700 Club family. Again, a person who had a major influence on what we see as Christianity, today. So definitely can't take that for granted. But definitely a loss to his family, his friends, and everyone else who's had that chance to experience him. So our prayers definitely go out for that.
Welcome to the Re-Up, the talk show. Well, okay.